Hello and welcome back to A Life in Chapters. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Alison Wood and this is episode 10, Why Your Blog is More Valuable Than You Think. So this podcast is a mix of personal reflections and practical ideas. I share journaling prompts and book thoughts for anyone who loves stories and self-discovery. Plus gentle tips for authors, artists and other creatives building something of their own online. So whether you're here for inspiration, encouragement, or a nudge to keep going, there's a seat for you. So let's get into today's episode, Why Your Blog is More Valuable Than You Think. So let's be honest, blogging isn't exactly the shiny new thing anymore. You don't hear people shouting about it in the same way they do with TikTok or Instagram. It doesn't have trending audio or filters or anything you can swipe left on. But I still believe, hand on heart, that your blog is one of the most valuable things you can create online. And today I want to tell you why. Now here's how I think of it. Social media is like renting a stall in a busy, noisy market. There are people shouting, lights flashing, music playing, and you're lucky if someone glances your way before rushing off to the next thing. But your blog, that's your home. You get to decide what goes where. You can hang pictures on the wall, light a scented candle, have a biscuit tin within arm's reach. People pop in and stay a while. They sit on the metaphorical sofa and hear what you have to say. And that's the real difference. People come for you, not just your content. I remember publishing my first blog post. It was years ago, 2009 to be exact, and I had no idea what I was doing. I probably wrote it in Times New Roman, didn't have a clue about SEO, and thought I'd invented the idea of a call to action by saying, let me know what you think in the comments. But here's the thing. I did it. I posted it. I took a thought in my head and turned it into something that lived online, something someone else could read. And once you've done that once, it's easier to do it again and again. And before you know it, you've built something that is real, something that grows with you. Now, there's this belief floating around that blogging is dead, but it's not. It's just quieter, less flashy, more mature maybe. The thing is, blogging doesn't need to be trendy to be effective. A good blog post can still build trust, bring in the right people, share your story, support your business, and help someone feel less alone. And the beauty of it, that post can keep doing all of those things long after you've written it. A good blog post doesn't disappear after 24 hours. It doesn't vanish into the algorithm abyss. It's still there, ready to help or inspire the next person who stumbles across it. Now, one of my early-ish blog posts was a simple list of online income ideas. So I hit publish and moved on. But that post has quietly worked in the background ever since. It's brought in affiliate sales, lovely feedback from readers, and even sparked someone's very first side hustle. Years later, it still pulls in traffic and continues to do its job without me lifting a finger. So I've blogged in lots of different niches, and I still do. And blogging is like sending out messages in bottles. Some land quickly, some drift for a while before washing up on the perfect shore. And if you're listening and thinking, but I don't have a big following, no one's paying attention to what I'm doing. I get that, I really do. Starting a blog or continuing with one when you feel invisible can feel lonely sometimes. You're writing into what feels like silence. The stats are low, no one's commenting, and it's easy to wonder what's the point. But the thing I want to say is that you never know who's reading. Seriously, some of the people who've ended up becoming customers, clients, collaborators, even close friends, found me through a blog post. Quietly, without ever commenting, without ever liking anything even. And then one day they reached out or we connected. And most people don't respond straight away. They're quietly taking it in. They're checking if you're consistent. They're getting a feel for who you are. So if you're feeling small right now, keep going, because showing up even when no one's clapping yet, i.e. liking or sharing, that's where the magic starts. Now this one, again, I also hear a lot, and it is a classic. What if no one reads it? And look, I won't sugarcoat it. In the beginning, not many people will, and that is entirely normal. But that doesn't mean it's not worth doing. You have to give people a chance to find you. And you give yourself a chance to grow into your voice, just like I'm doing here on the podcast. You know, the listener numbers, hopefully, are going to grow, but they're probably going to grow quite slowly. And maybe that's a good thing, because I have to get used to podcasting. I have to get used to growing into my voice. And with blogging, you're not just creating a platform, you're creating momentum. And also, if I can offer maybe just a little bit of a mindset shift, what if the goal isn't to be read by everyone, but just the right someone, just one person who finds your words on the exact day they needed them, and then the next person and the next? That's impact, that's connection, and that's worth everything. We live in a world that rewards speed, fast growth, fast content, fast results. Blogging is more like slow cooking. You put the ingredients together, you let the flavors develop, and it's even better the next day. You might not see immediate results, and yes, that can be frustrating. It's frustrating for me right now on this podcast as I grow. Especially when you see other people going viral seemingly overnight with a 10-second video and a ring light. But blogging is about depth, not noise. I've had posts that I forgot I had even written suddenly get picked up and shared years later. I've had affiliate links quietly making sales from posts that were buried in my archives. I've had people email me saying, I found this blog post and it felt like you were talking directly to me. Now that doesn't come from chasing trends. That comes from taking the time to create something honest. One of the things I love most about blogging is that it becomes a kind of a journal, not a private one, but a public reflection on where you've been. I can look back and see the version of me who was just starting her business, the version of me who was learning how to manage her time, the version of me who was going through things in my personal life, and I wrote my way through that. I can also see reflections of me in my knowledge as a blogger growing, as I got better at understanding search engine optimization, or SEO, as I got better at writing. And now, a Life in Chapters blog is the version of me who's still figuring things out to a certain extent, but doing it in a way that feels more aligned, more intentional, and a lot gentler. And your blog can be that too. It's not just for your audience, it's for you as well. It's a breadcrumb trail, a mirror, a reminder of how far you've come. Now, this is one of the biggest things I hear. I'd love to blog, but I'm not an expert. To which I say, brilliant, even better. Because people aren't looking for perfect experts with polished answers. They're looking for real humans who are figuring things out just like they are. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to share what you're learning. And let's be honest, sometimes the most helpful post isn't the one written by someone with 1,000 credentials. It's the one that says, here's what I tried, here's what worked, and here's what I do differently next time. That's the kind of content people trust. Also, I'm not against social media. I use it, I enjoy it, but I don't rely on it. Because I've seen platforms change. I've seen accounts get locked or suspended or shadow banned. I've seen creators pour their hearts into platforms only to find themselves starting from scratch when something shifts. With blogging, you're not building on borrowed land. You have something solid beneath your feet. You own your words. You control the space. And that creates a kind of calm confidence that social media rarely offers. You're not chasing trends. You're creating something lasting. Now, your blog can be a business, or it can be a creative outlet, or it can be a mixture of the two. Some of you might want to blog to grow your business, and that's amazing. Blogging can help you share your services, introduce your digital products, explain what you offer in a way that feels personal and real. But others might just want a place to write, to reflect, to connect with people in a slower, deeper way. That's also more than valid. It's powerful. There's something beautifully human about sharing your thoughts in your own space on your own terms. You're not performing, you're connecting. And if you're wondering what you'd even say on a blog, especially if you're not a blogger, let's break it down. Let's give some examples. Because whether you're an author or any other kind of creative, there are plenty of ways to make blogging work for you. For example, if you're an author, you're writing books, maybe you're already published, traditionally published or self-published, or you're on your journey there. You're dreaming of it, you're working towards it. Now, your blog doesn't have to be a daily writing diary or a place where you share everything you've ever written, but it can be a brilliant way to connect with future readers. You could write about the behind the scenes of your writing process, book recommendations in your genre, research you're doing for a novel, lessons from your own creative journey, gentle encouragement for other writers. And the best bit, people who read those posts are likely to care about your work already, or they're likely to care about you because they get to know more about you in the process of you sharing on your blog. You're building connection before you've even launched a book, and that's incredibly powerful when it comes time to sell or to promote. A blog is not about being salesy. It's about sharing your world and letting people step into it, one blog post at a time. Now, say you're a creative or a maker. Perhaps you're a designer, an illustrator, or you run a small creative business. You could be an artist. You could be any kind of someone whose heart is in their creative business. Now your blog can be a place to show off your latest creations, share stories behind the products, answer FAQs from customers, teach small tips or how-tos in your niche, or reflect on what's inspiring you right now. You're not just showing what you make, you're showing what you believe in. And that's what turns someone from a casual scroller into a long-term customer or fan. Plus, blog posts are so much more findable than social content. A helpful tutorial, a resource roundup, or even a personal reflection can keep bringing new people to your work long after it's published. So if you've been hovering on the edge of starting a blog, this is your sign. You don't need to wait until you have the perfect niche, the perfect layout, or the perfect plan. You don't need to know where it's going to lead. You just need to begin. Write one post, share one thought, open the door just a little. You never know who might be waiting on the other side. And if you already have a blog that's been a bit neglected, maybe this is your nudge to come back to it. Dust off the login, give it a little TLC, and remember why you started in the first place. You're allowed to come back. You're allowed to begin again. Now, if you haven't blogged before and you want help starting, I've got a freebie for you. And maybe this episode has sparked something in you. Maybe you are brand new to blogging, or perhaps you have taken a long break. So I've got the resource and it's called Start a Blog for Profit. And it's designed to help you get set up quickly and easily without all the tech overwhelm or decision fatigue. And you'll find it at alifeinchapters.com/profit. I will also link it in the show notes. Inside, I walk you through the tools I use. It's video based, very short videos, how to get your first post live, and how to start building a blog that supports you, whatever your goals may be. Whether it becomes part of your business, your creative practice, or just your own little corner of the internet, it's a great place to begin. Thank you for being here with me today. I know life gets busy and your time and attention mean a lot. I hope this episode left you with a little more clarity or encouragement. If you'd like more support, journal prompts, or to join our book club, come find me on Patreon. You'll find everything you need at alifeinchapters.com/Patreon. And just one last reminder before you go. Your blog matters, even if it's small, even if only a few people read it right now, even if you're still finding your voice. It's still something real, something that's yours, and it's more valuable than you think. I'll catch you in the next episode. Speak soon.